Okay, in this part of the video we're going to look at how to carve the round nose and the cheeks of the gnome. So I've marked off where the bottom of that nose is going to be. That is about 3/8 of an inch down from the brim of the hat. And that's where the bottom of our nose is going to start. I'll get my glove on here. And we'll start by notching in the bottom of the nose, just cutting straight in and then cutting up to it. Now, just like I did with the hat, I knew I wanted something round, and the way I think about that is I can start with something square and I can take the edges off until I get it round. So what I do for my nose is actually very similar. I know a lot of people would draw this as a circle. For some reason, whenever I draw it as a circle, I struggle to make it as round as I really wanted to. Actually, I'm going to make it just a little wider than I had there. So I'm just going to come in and draw that in like a square, because I know how to change a square into a circle. And it's easier for me to draw a square than it is to draw a circle. So I'm going to keep carving in up to the bottom of that square. Okay, and when I'm sufficiently carved in underneath there, I'm going to come in, I'm going to put 2 stop cuts, not very deep, but I'm just going to put in a stop cut right here along the edge of my square down to the bottom of the nose, and the same thing over here. This is a very shallow cut, just with the tip. Now when I go to the sides here and here, those will come off, and now I can go with just under the tip of my knife and shave up under there. Okay. Under the tip. A lot of carving cleanly is about knowing where the tip of your knife is. So do the same thing over here. Carve up to there. Okay. And once I've gotten kind of around the edges, then I can come in and do a little bit more. So then I'm going to come over here and push up kind of more to where the cheek would be. I can already push that in some. Curve that up into the hat a little bit more on each side for the cheek. Same thing over here. I'm watching where the tip of my knife is so I don't undercut the nose too far, but then I'm rounding up where the cheeks will be, removing that from under the brim of the hat. Check to see if it's symmetric. Roughly is. And yeah. So now I got a good start for my nose. I'm just going to flatten this out a little bit underneath where the beard will be to give me a little bit more space, and around these corners. So, like I said, I know how to make a square into a circle. I just take corners off until it's a circle. So I start like this, and then I very carefully, with the tip of my knife, about a 45-degree angle, take off that corner of the square. Okay, so I'm just cutting down into it and across here. Now, do this carefully with the corner of your knife, and it takes a little practice. You can do it without leaving a lot of extra scratch marks down there. If you're not careful, you'll leave a lot of extra scratch marks down there. It'll start to look kind of sloppy. But if you're just carefully using the tip of your knife, you can do that. And then if you leave a little bit of a mark like that, you can easily peel that out of there. Okay, so that's not bad. That's pretty symmetric. Make this one go up just a tad more to look a little more symmetric. Okay, and I'm gonna just push the top of the nose back here a little bit before I do the corners at the top. Okay. Alright, now I'm going to do the same thing up here. I'm going to cut in about 45 degrees and take the corner off the top of each. So I can do a straight cut in underneath the brim, a cut kind of under the nose, and that'll remove that corner piece. Same thing over here. If you want to, you can kind of do that first and undercut a little bit. And then it's hard for me to see how symmetric it is holding it over there under the camera, but and cut it out about like that. Okay, so now I've got kind of a diamond shaped nose, but it's closer to a circle than it was before. I know how to change that shape into a circle. So next I'm going to round the nose off, so I'm going to take that hard corner off the front, flatten that out a little bit, and do the same thing to the sides like that. So I've got kind of a rounder front to my nose. Then we come over here on the sides, and I'm going to take off the side just a little bit like that, there, and there. That's kind of where my first pencil mark was. So I always want to draw my square a little bigger than the nose is going to end up being. Alright, and then you can see the nose is coming up here, so down on the bottom I want it to come down. So I'm going to cut that in like that. Okay, then I'm going to take those two corners that I just cut in off, round those a little bit. Okay, and you can see my round nose is taking shape here. So really it's just a matter of going around to the remaining corners, trying to keep it symmetric all the way around. Be very careful to use just the tip of your knife. You can use a detail knife if you want to, but your longer knife is probably fine if you're just working the top of it up here. Okay. And then each of these little sides that are sharp edges, I'm just working my way around until they're all soft and smooth. So that's pretty good. I might round just the bottom of this a little bit like that. That's pretty close to a nice round nose there. If you've got a couple little wedges here, wood boogers I heard somebody call them, you can recut those really carefully with the tip of your knife to get those out. And then what I'll do is I'll cut in a little bit further back here where the eyes presumably would be. So I stick my tip of my knife in here and just straight back under the brim, come down right here and just do a cut up to it. That's just gonna create a little bit more of a shadow for where the eye presumably might be. Same thing over here, straight cut in, cut up to it. Just kind of creates a little bit more depth for where the eye would be. Alright, so that's the nose. The next part is the cheeks. So you can see the nose here, and then we're going to round the cheeks out. Pretty similar in size to the nose. You can choose if you want it to be bigger or smaller, but so the way I do that is first I just draw in my circle of where I want the cheek to be. Since I'm right-handed, it's always easier for me to draw the right-hand side, and then I flip it over, and if I'm drawing the other side, sometimes I got to do it a few times to make it even. I don't measure or do anything else here. I just kind of eyeball it until I'm sure that one on this side looks just a little bit smaller than the other one. I'll make my line a little wider and try to remember to do that. Alright, so now I got the circles drawn for where I want the cheeks to go, and the way I do this is I'm going to put my knife straight in, almost like a pencil, and I'm just going to do a stop cut all the way along that curved line. So I'll start here at the nose. I'm going to put the tip in, and be careful. You can do a light cut first and then come back and do it a little bit deeper. Follow your line and then bring it up to the brim there. So I've got a straight in cut with the tip of my knife. I'll repeat it here to get it just a little bit deeper. Take your time when you're doing this. If you push hard and you slip, you can easily take off a chunk that you don't want to take off. I'll do the same thing over here. Pretty good. Alright. Now all it's going to be is a matter of cutting into those cuts to make my round cheeks. I always like to start in the corners, so up here at the hat I can cut in under the brim and in at the corner here, and then I can come down here and it's really easy for me to just take that chip out of the corner, and that starts me off really well with a nice deep cut on the corner. I can carry that across the edge of the top of the cheek there under the hat. Do the same thing over here, cut just in underneath the hat, cut up to it there, okay, and kind of flatten that pointy part up like that. So now I've got some nice round cheeks going up into the brim of the hat. I'm going to do the same over here at the edge of the nose. I'm going to do a corner along the edge of the nose and take that out there just a little bit with the tip of my knife to start. And that's going to start right at the edge of the nose there. Take a corner out, and now I can do these other cuts. Now, when you're cutting with the wood, you always want to be going kind of uphill. So the grain's going straight like this. This curve here would be going uphill. So I'm going to start back here. I'm going to pay attention to where the tip of my knife is so I don't undercut this. I want the tip of my knife to be going right along the edge here, but under the wood. So I'm going to pay very close attention to where that tip of my knife is, and I'm going to kind of carve down under the cheek like that. I won't worry about going all the way across. I'll stop there for now. That's fine. Then I'm going to do the same thing from over here, coming back, using just the tip of my knife, paying attention. If I have to come in then and get that wood to fall out by recutting there. You always want to get to the point where your cuts are what's moving the wood out, and you're not breaking those chips off or anything like that. So you can see at a pretty rough level, that's it. That's the cheek. Finish this one up over here the same way. Okay. And now it's really just a matter of kind of rounding everything off. You've got the basic shape there. If you want to, you can kind of come in and round those cheeks a little bit with the tip of your knife like that. You can take a couple of these rougher corners off to round them out a little bit more. If you see sharp edges, kind of take those off. You can see I'm using just the tip of my knife a lot. I use my finger kind of rolls around there sometimes. Be a little bit careful with that. I'm not usually putting enough pressure on it to cut that finger. I guess I could put a finger guard there, but anyway, so that gets there. Now the last thing that I'll do then to finish off this little area is I'm just going to round off what's going to be the top of the beard. So on this side, it is going up like this a little bit, so I'm going to cut uphill towards the nose here. Okay. And then if I'm going to cut this part here, I want to be up like this. So again, just the tip of my knife, and I'm rounding that hard edge. So that top of the beard will be going in there, and then I've got a nice round edge. If you need to, you can get your knife in here and just kind of recut some of that and get these little tiny chips out. The corners of the cheeks. So that's pretty good. When I'm done with the carving, I always come back and kind of look for those areas where maybe there's a little bit of a chip stuck in there, and I want to come out and get it. So we'll get it like 90% of the way there now, and that's pretty good. Okay. So there you go. We've got the round cheeks and the nose formed right above where the beard is going to go. That's the red one. I was using the blue one before. Looks about like that. So in the next one we will start to shape the beard and the body, the arms.